Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, so how was your 1 week semester break? I assume plenty of assignment deadlines and quizzes or online assessment. Okay, by the way, our first quiz, which is due on I think on this coming Friday. Okay, from topic 1 to topic 4. Okay, as what I posted before. Okay, so please get ready. So the link for the online quiz will be updated soon. Okay, post on your OL once the coordinator has prepared or generate the link for you all to do the quiz. Okay, so it will be, so you have back-to-back quiz, meaning this week and also, if I'm not mistaken, next week. Okay, for the remaining of the microeconomics topic. So this coming Friday is topic 1 to 4. Okay, and then the following week will be for quiz for topic 5 and 5 to 7. Okay, so that will be the plan. Okay, so if you look at the WhatsApp, okay, that was sent to you on, I think, on late November. Okay, I think on the 22nd of November last month. Okay, chapter 1 to 4, and then 5 to 7. Okay, on the following week. Okay, so the test, yeah, I think it's for, if I'm not mistaken, it will be for 1 hour. Okay, so number of questions should be, is subjective. I mean, what you need to worry is, to prepare is topic 1 to 4. Okay, so those questions should be able to, you can finish answering all questions. I think is less than 45 minutes. Okay, so the remaining 50 minutes is just for checking purpose. Okay, so the test from 9 to 10. Okay, and then the following week on 18th of December. Okay, on same Friday. Okay, 9 to 10 as well. So make sure your internet connection, if you need to go somewhere else, to make sure that your line is okay. So do that on that particular time of the day on Friday, 9 to 10. Okay, so okay, I did miss our last lecture on the Thursday prior to your mid-semester break. So today we're gonna finish on that. Okay, on topic number 7, competition and monopoly. Okay, so that will be the plan for today, and then hopefully on the coming Thursday, we're gonna start with the second part of the syllabus, which is on macroeconomics. Okay, so this will be our last topic on microeconomics, topic 7. Okay, the topic 8 onwards, okay, will be on macroeconomics. Okay, so the direction and the focus of the chapters, the remaining chapters will be slightly different because the discussion is more on GDP, inflation, interest rate, unemployment issue, so those kind of things. Okay, so it's no longer about firm, individual behavior, utility, consumption, and whatnot. Okay, so just a quick recap what we did on the previous on our last lecture. So we discussed on the concept of perfect competition, the characteristics of a perfect competition market, where the firm is a price taker. So they take whatever price given by the market. There is no control about the price. Okay, and then because of that condition, okay, the price, this condition is fulfilled, the marginal revenue, which is also the demand curve, okay, will be, sorry, the marginal revenue will be equal to AR, average revenue, and also equal to the price. So the demand curve for a firm in PPS or perfect competition going to be a perfect straight line, okay, a horizontal straight line like this, okay, because of the constant price, okay, that every firm will has or will get, okay. So this is what we discussed, and then the proof that okay, so this is a simple example when you have I mean, this is on the cost functions, okay, but the price here is a fixed price, okay, because the price will be the same for all firms. So because the price is fixed, okay, when you calculate marginal revenue, MR, which is the change in total revenue divided by the change in output, okay, will be the same. So this is, and the marginal cost is the change in total cost divided by the change in output. Okay, so we gone through this graph as well just to show how output is determined. Okay, so we know that the condition MR equals to MC. Okay, I also mentioned that for perfect competition market, because MR is also equals to price, so sometimes it is given as P equals to MC. Okay, but the general condition is marginal cost equals to marginal revenue. But because in perfect competition, MR is also equals to price, so we substitute MR into P. So P also equals to MC is also the equilibrium condition. Okay, for firm to. So what is this condition for? This condition is for the firm to find the quantity of output that will maximize profit. Okay, profit maximization condition. So when the marginal revenue curve intersect with the marginal cost curve, okay, so that will be the point where the firm can maximize its profit. So by producing at that particular output level. So here, the marginal cost curve is the green line. The MR curve, or also the price curve, is the straight horizontal line. MC cross MR at this particular point. So Q equals to 9 is the profit maximizing output, and the price 131, which is given by the market. Okay, so the yellow area is the profit area. So how do you calculate profit? TR minus TC. So TR is calculated by P times Q. Okay, so we went through this concept before, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. Okay, so P times Q is your total revenue. Okay, P. Okay, P times Q. Okay, so this is the price. This is the quantity. Okay, so P. So this whole square is your TR. Okay, total revenue. Okay, and then total cost is the area below here. Okay, so your total cost is given as from this point to this point. Okay, so TR deduct by TC, you get this remaining profit. So how do you get this to be your total cost? Okay, so the same way as how you get your total revenue. So MC equals to MR, or P equal to MC is this point of intersection. You will get the quantity, and at this point you refer to the y-axis, which is the price. Okay, so this will be 131. It will be the price multiplied by 9. Okay, 131 multiplied by 9 will be the total revenue. Total cost is given by, okay, you cannot find total cost function, but what you have is average total cost. Okay, so along the same line, when the line cuts the average total cost, okay, at this point here, so that will be the point where, okay, at this point here, this line cuts your average total cost curve. So how do you calculate ATC? Okay, ATC, or average total cost, or some average total cost or average cost, you get it by the TC divided by Q, correct? Okay, Purata is the mean. Okay, average is calculated by total divided by quantity, total cost divided by quantity. So how, but when you want to calculate profit, profit is obtained by TR minus TC, correct? Okay, minus TC, total revenue minus total cost. Total revenue you get by P times Q. Okay, so P times Q is your total revenue. Okay, but how about total cost? Total cost is not shown directly here, but you know that the formula average cost is given by TC over Q. So how do you get TC? You just simply cross multiply. Average total cost multiply by quantity will give you total cost. So the point here is, where is your average total cost? Okay, so at this line where your MC cuts your AC, MC cuts your price line here, okay, the same vertical line where you show where is your output. So along the same line, you can see that the line cross your average cost at this point here. So that's why when you bring to the y-axis, okay, so 97.78 here is your average total cost. So the y-axis here is not only price, but also anything to do with dollar, okay? It also refers to average total cost. Is also refer to the value of your average variable cost, ABC, whatever that you see here, okay, it also can be labeled on your y-axis, price, AC, ABC, MC, and whatnot. So anything in dollar value will be here lah, okay, on the y-axis. So at this point, 97.78 is your average total cost value. But what you want to get is the total cost. So 97, so you know that TC can be obtained by AC times Q. So AC times Q, meaning 97.78 multiplied by 9 will give you total cost. So TR minus TC gives you the yellow area, which is the profit area. So that is how you show the area of profit, okay, from the profit maximizing condition. MC equals to MR, or you can also write as P equals to MC. Okay, MR is also equal to price in perfect competition market. Okay, so this is also where your the firm when your here you can see that as long if the when is the firm making profit and when is the firm making loss. Okay, so profit usually when you see that the price line here, the one in red, or also your MR. Okay, take note that, okay, in our previous slide we already show that, okay, in perfect competition, P equal to AR equals to MR equals to the demand curve. So this line, the one in red, is MR equals to price equals to AR equals to demand curve. Okay, so that is this line here. Okay, the red line here is MR equals to price equals to price equals to AR equals to, okay, equals to your AR equals to your demand. Okay, so that is shown by the same line, MR equals to P equals to AR equals to demand. So as long as the price line is above your average cost line, so you can see that this is your average cost line. As long as the price is above, the firm will get profit. Okay, so that is a quick way to see. Here you can see that why the firm is making loss, because the price is below the average cost line. You can see that the price is below. Okay, so as long as the price is below, definitely you will get loss. Why? Because profit is calculated as TR minus TC. So you can show using the same condition just now, MR cross MC is at this point here. Okay, when MC cross your MR curve at this point, so at this point you will get your quantity. So this is the quantity. Okay, 81 is the price. So P times Q. Okay, so this area is the total revenue area. Okay, so where is the total cost area? So the same line. Okay, in the previous graph. Okay, because the price is above, so AC is below that. But here, because the price is below AC, so you need to bring the same line up until it cuts your average cost curve, and then you get this point here. So this point is your, let's say the point here is 100. Okay, so 100 is the average cost value. So where is the total cost? So AC times Q will give you your total, will give you the total cost value. So this area is the total cost. Okay. So the one below is the total revenue. So TC is above TR, so give you the yellow area as the loss. Okay. But as I said, okay, one quick way to know, as long as the price is below AC, you're gonna get loss. Okay. But if the price is above the average cost curve, you will get profit. Okay. So that is okay, on the profit or loss. Okay, and in the long run, okay, of course, in principle of economics, we're not going to discuss this thing in detail, because for economics students, when they take microeconomics subject, okay, the 2000 level paper, perhaps next semester, okay, they will go through this syllabus again, but in more detail. So for principle of economics paper, we just going through this component just in brief. Okay, as long as you know what are the characteristics, okay, of the firms, okay, in the short run versus long run. Okay, so just now what we discussed are all in the short run condition. Okay, but in the long run, the main point that I want to highlight is every firm in the perfect competition market can only get zero profit. Okay? Zero profits means TR is equals to total cost. Total revenue will equal to total cost, or in accounting term we call it break even, meaning the price will be the same as the minimum point of average cost. Okay, so so this is the main thing that you need to understand. In the long run, every firm, in the short run, firm can make profit, meaning TR can be above total cost. Profit means revenue is above cost. But in the long run, okay, any company in the perfect competition, okay, any firm in the perfect competition market that survive, because, for example, now during COVID-19, okay, some companies cannot sustain, okay, cannot stay on, cannot stay in the market for too long because of cost, demand very low and whatnot. Okay, so they need to close the business, unfortunately. Okay, so the same thing here in the perfect competition market. In the long run, okay, due to competition, changes in cost and whatnot. Okay, so the firms that can survive in the market or can stay on to continue operating in the market are those who can produce when the price is at the lowest point of average cost, or the price is equal to minimum average cost. ATC or AC, the same thing. And when the price is minimum, is equivalent to minimum average cost, therefore every firm can only get zero profit. Zero profit means revenue is equal to cost. So that is the condition that you need to focus here. Okay, and then the rest, entry and exit. Okay, so these are additional, but the main point here is this one. Okay, price equals to minimum AC and zero economic profit. So this graph here illustrates the condition where price is equal to minimum average cost. You can see that, okay, the condition that we used previously, MC equals to MR, correct? Or P equals to MC. So where is the condition where MC equals to MR or P equals to MC? This point here. Okay, when MC cuts your MR at this, so this is your MR or also the price line. Okay, we know that under perfect competition, P also equals to MR, also equals to AR. Okay, so when P equals to MC at this point, this point happens to be located at the very lowest point of average cost. Okay, so at this point, the firm will produce 100 and the price is at 50. So at this point also, the total revenue, which is shown by this square here, okay, P times Q is your total revenue, is also equals to total cost. Where is your average cost point? Okay, we know that at this point, at this particular point, this is also your average cost point, which is at 50 also. So AC times Q also gives you your total cost, TC. So TC will be equal to total revenue, okay, at this particular situation here. So TR equals to TC means zero economic profit, as what stated before. Okay, zero economic profit. Okay, so this is what I want you to understand. Okay, for long run condition, for perfect competition market. Okay, so and in the long run, okay, so why every firms we can only get zero profit? Because if there is profit, okay, to be obtained in the long run, for example, in the short run, okay, in the short run, if let's say every company is there are companies who make profit. So if you want to set up another business, same business like the other competitors, for example, if you are doing a online business, and you go through the platform in Shopee or Facebook or any other platforms, Lazada, okay, so and you are interested to sell the same product as other sellers. For example, you want to sell let's say cosmetic product, okay, so you're gonna sell the, so any profit that is obtained by the previous by the existing firms, okay, slowly will be getting less and less, because when there are new companies or new firms, okay, or new sellers join the market, okay, so it's just like a big piece of cake, okay. So when you initially, let's say the cake is shared by 3 people, okay, so everyone get a bigger slice, but as new firms join the market, okay, so the cake becomes smaller and smaller, okay, until the point that, okay, the profit becomes smaller and smaller, okay, eliminates economic profit, meaning the profit becomes small, too small, okay, to attract new sellers. So this is quite common, okay. If you see, like for example, along the road, in your house, I mean in your hometown, if you see one seller selling something and people there are many people buying from that stall, you will see, okay, another 1 or 2 sellers, new sellers join, okay, which they will sell something similar also around around the same area. So this is what happened here when when the market can get, when firms can get profit, that will attract new firms to join the market. So the cake becomes smaller and smaller, and then end up every firm we can only get zero profit, okay, or meaning break even only. So that is the condition just now. Long run competitive equilibrium meaning the price is equals to minimum average cost. Okay, so this is what I want you to understand. Okay, the rest are all definitions. Okay, what is allocative efficiency? What is productive efficiency? Okay, what is dynamic efficiency? So this, okay, most probably if you were got a question on this, it will just be on the concepts. Okay, so of course you can type in the Google, okay, check in Google for some example. Okay, but I want to focus on the remaining part of the syllabus on the monopoly. Okay. So these are some extra definition that you need to check. Okay, allocative versus productive efficiency. Allocative is when when every firm produce when the price is equals to MC. So when this condition is met, we call this the firm has achieved allocative efficiency. Okay, if the price is above MC, it is under, it is not efficient, but we call it under allocative, okay, or under allocation. But when the price is below, too cheap, it is over allocation. Okay, so either way, allocative efficiency is achieved when P equals to MC. Okay, So now let's move on to the last part, okay, of topic number 7, okay, which is the conclusion of the syllabus for microeconomics in your principle of economics syllabus. Okay, before on our next lecture, we're going to start on macroeconomics topic. Okay, so the first part just now we discussed about perfect competition, okay, or competitive market where there are many firms. Okay, so if you recall when we first started discussing that concept, okay, perfect competition where there are many firms, okay, many firms selling similar products, okay. So so this is the main difference between monopoly and competition market, okay, because monopoly, the word mono means only one firm, okay, only one company selling the product, okay, so that is the term monopoly, okay. So for example, in Malaysia, for example, usually the term monopoly is given to for example, the supplier of electricity in Malaysia, which is TNB. In the Peninsular Malaysia is TNB, okay, Tenaga Nasional Berhad. So that is the sole supplier of electricity in the Peninsular Malaysia. Okay, but in Sabah Sarawak they have other than TNB also. Okay, but in Peninsular Malaysia, okay, so TNB has a monopoly in term of the supply of the main supply, the final supply of the electricity. Okay, you can think of other example as well, but nowadays in the real world it's quite difficult to find a monopoly. Okay, except maybe you have 2 or 3 firms, okay, selling similar product. Okay, but for example, in the world of Android, for example, Android market. So the only, of course, Android is set up by Google. So Google has, in a way, like the monopoly for Android operating system, just like in Apple iOS. Okay, so they are the one who create, okay, who creates the the Apple products. So they have so-called the monopoly in that market, okay, in terms of the operating system. Okay, so only one seller, no substitute, because you are the only supplier or the only seller. And the main thing is the firm is a price maker, meaning because you are the only seller, so every firm has the ability to set their own price. Okay, so every firm has the ability to set their own price. Okay, unlike in perfect competition market, like we discussed before. Okay, firm is a price taker, so they can only accept whatever price is given by the market. Okay, but for monopoly, they are the price maker. Okay, and then other characteristics. Okay, for example, license, copyright. Okay, so that is one of the characteristics that will allow, okay, only one firm to produce or to exist in the market. Okay, so that is okay, so that is the characteristics. You can find other characteristics, but these are the main one. Okay, price taker and price maker, no close substitute. Okay, and significant barriers to entry. Barriers to entry means if new firm wants to join the market, it's very difficult. Okay, that is what barriers mean. Barriers to entry, and one of the reason why it's difficult to enter, because perhaps in terms of license, okay, copyrights, or high cost, okay, high fixed cost, meaning, for example, to if you want to supply electricity in Malaysia, for example, okay, the cost that you need, okay, to set up all of the facilities, the investment, okay, for you to generate the electricity, all those things require millions or maybe even billions of ringgit, okay, to set up the firm. So not every company has the uh, modal or the resources, okay, or the capital to set up another company with such high cost. So that is what barriers to entry means, okay? And also you cannot simply join the market because of licensing, license, copyright and whatnot. Okay, so if you look at the perfect competition market before, okay, the one that we just finished, okay, the demand curve for perfect competition is perfectly horizontal. Okay, the demand curve, what you normally learn in chapter 1, chapter 2 in this syllabus, a normal demand curve is downward sloping. Okay, so that is a normal demand curve. Okay, the demand curve is downward sloping, supply curve is upward sloping. Okay, so this is demand, this is this is supply, okay, and this is demand curve, okay, downward sloping demand curve. But for this is in general condition, but for perfect competition, because every firm is a price taker, so every individual firm, the demand curve will be perfectly horizontal, but the market as a whole, okay, not the horizontal demand curve is only for one particular firm. But if you take the whole market, meaning one whole market, the demand curve is still downward sloping. Okay, the horizontal demand curve is only for one particular, for each individual firm. Yes, the demand curve is horizontal in perfect competition, but the market as a whole, when you add all firms in the market, okay, the demand curve in the market will still be downward sloping. Okay, that's what you normally learn. Okay, so the same applies for monopoly. Okay, the demand curve is the normal downward sloping. Okay, downward sloping demand curve. Because why? Because the price can change. Okay, because firm in the monopoly is a price maker. So for you to be a price maker, you must be able to set different prices. Okay, so meaning that you can set a price at this level or even at a lower level, depending on your cost function or your market condition. But the ability to set price will make the demand curve downward sloping demand curve as what you normally see. Okay, so and usually under monopoly, the price will be above MR. You recall that under perfect competition, price is equals to MC. Okay, P equal to MC, or the price of what we just concluded just now under the term allocative efficiency. Okay, where allocative efficiency is when P equals to MC. So this is only achieved in perfect competition market. But under monopoly, usually, okay, or normally, we will say that under monopoly, the P will exceed the price will, sorry, this one should be the okay, this one should be price exceeding marginal cost, okay, not marginal revenue. So that is what you need to change in your okay, so you need to change this to to marginal. Usually when you read books, okay, usually they will see that the price will exceed marginal cost, okay, or MC lah, P is greater than MC, okay, because under monopoly, usually every firm, the firm or the monopolist cannot achieve or does not achieve allocative efficiency. Okay, because what we discussed just now, allocative efficiency is when P equals to MC. Okay, but in monopoly, because there is no competition, okay, the firm is the only supplier. So because of that, usually price will be above the marginal cost. Okay, so that is what you need to change in the slide here. P exceeds MC. Okay, so monopolist is a price maker. Okay, so we're not going to discuss too much into detail in terms of the graph, okay, because that one usually for microeconomic subjects, okay, for at 2000 level, meaning for economic student, when they take the subject, okay, maybe next semester, they will study on this topic again in more detail, okay, but for principle of economics, okay, that is not a requirement. So what you need to know at this level is the characteristics of monopolist, okay, the condition where, okay, what are the characteristics, sole supplier, no close substitute, okay, and then the source of monopoly power, for example, patents, copyright. So this give what gives the monopoly its monopoly power, okay. So the power comes from licensing, law that prohibits new firm to join. Okay, for example, like permit. Okay, for example, like in Malaysia, usually the main importer for rice is Bernas. Okay, so Bernas is the main importer for rice in Malaysia. So they has the so-called monopoly, if I'm not mistaken, on that. Okay, so so that is the thing that you need to focus more. And also in monopoly, usually price will exceed marginal cost, or in other words, in monopoly market, the firm does not achieve allocative efficiency, because allocative efficiency is only obtained in perfect competition where P is equals to MC. Okay, why? Because there are many competition, there are many firms. When firms compete, it's good for the consumers, it's good for the market, because you need to become efficient in order to survive. But under monopoly, because there is no competition, so there is no incentive for the firm to become efficient like in perfect competition. So that's why usually under monopoly market, the price that the monopolist charge is higher than the marginal cost value. Okay, so that is um, okay. So that is and then the condition is still the same. MC equals to MR. Okay, but okay, MC equals MR, as I stated before, this is the general condition for all firms. Okay, whether you are perfect competition, monopoly, oligopoly, there are different types of market. But of course, in the syllabus, we only cover monopoly and perfect competition. So remember that MC equals to MR is the general rule, or marginal cost equals to marginal revenue. But under perfect competition, there is a special condition where, as I mentioned many times, in perfect competition, the MR is also equals to price. Okay, because of the price taker condition. Okay, the horizontal fixed line price. And then okay, so the general guideline is still MC equals to MR. Okay, but in perfect competition, usually you will find books will put P equals to MC. Okay, not MR equal to MC, because MR, although is equal to price, okay, but just to differentiate, what is the difference between monopoly and perfect competition? Okay, so one way to differentiate is that uh, beside the general guideline MC equals to MR, in perfect competition, price is also equal to MR. So because of that, usually will be put under perfect competition, P equals to MC. Okay, but for monopoly, we will stick to the general rule, which is MC equals to MR. Okay, because in monopoly market, price is not equal to marginal revenue. Okay, so just now what we mentioned just now, under perfect competition, P is also equals to MR. Okay, this is under perfect competition. But for monopoly, the P is not equals to MR. So because of that, you need to use the general rule MC equals to MR. Okay, but under perfect competition, because P is also equals to MR, so instead of using the term MR, we stick to MC equals to price, so that we can differentiate the condition between monopoly and perfect competition. Okay, so of course when you do exercises, okay, the questions from the test bank, okay, from past years, then you will see how this concept is being asked. Okay, so a quick look at how the cost, the general, if you Google in YouTube, for example, okay, you can type topics on monopoly, okay, monopoly uh, output, okay, how firms set output in monopoly market. You can find many YouTube videos, okay, on lectures explaining how this is achieved, okay. But okay, just a quick recap just now. If you recall from the perfect competition graph just now, okay, so this is the MC curve is similar. AC curve is similar, ABC is, the one that is the main difference is the MR curve. MR, which is also the, okay, MR, which is equals to AR, okay, which is also equals to the demand curve. So these three are on the same line, okay, which is also equals to the price value, okay, P. But the main thing is MR is equals to AR. AR is also known as the demand curve, okay, in the in this type of market, okay. So when you look at this graph here, okay, when you look at this graph, okay, you will see that MR, and then they put demand. Why there is no AR? Okay, that's why I keep mentioning. Demand is also known as a average. When you draw your average revenue line, AR is also known as, is also called as the demand curve. Okay, so whenever you see a book or whenever you refer to any books or slides on monopolies market, okay, the AR curve is also the demand curve. Okay, so you will see that the demand curve or the AR curve is above the MR curve, or in other words, they are not the same line, but AR is always above MR. Okay, unlike in perfect competition, everything is horizontal, or first they are the same value. AR equals to MR equals to price equals to demand, and these are all the same value and they are perfectly horizontal. Okay, but under monopolies market, they are not the same, and MR is below AR, or the demand curve is always above the marginal revenue uh, curve. Okay, and this one, they simply draw the MC curve as a straight line. Okay, usually you will also see some books, they put the graph, okay, not properly straight, but something like what you saw just now in the perfect competition graph. Okay, the graph is something like this, meaning the MC is it will go down and then go back up again. Okay, something like this. Okay, so sometimes you see the book, the MC curve is upward sloping like this. Okay, but usually it's not a perfectly straight line like this one. Okay, so what you see here is quite very simplistic, meaning, but I would prefer that if you if you refer to any notes or any other books, usually the graph will be something like this. Okay, meaning not a perfectly horizontal, not a perfectly straight line. Okay, but anyway, the point that we want to focus is not, and the most important point is MC is upward sloping. Okay, so an MR is below AR, okay, which is the demand curve. Okay, you also put here equals to AR. Okay, equals to AR. Okay, and then the condition to find the output that maximize profit is when MC equals to MR. So the word equal means when the two curves intersect. So this is your MC curve, this is your MR curve. Okay, so the point of intersection is when MC cuts the MR at this particular point here. Okay, so this point, this intersection point is when MC equals to MR. So once you get at this point, you will draw a vertical line, okay, straight to the top and also to the below, until the one on below, until it cuts the x-axis. Okay, so the word Q max means quantity that maximizes profit. So you get the quantity when the two curves intersect, okay, and then you locate what is the quantity, and then that is one part. Okay, step one is to find the quantity. Step two is to find the price. So what is the price that the firm should charge? So the price will be when along the same line, okay, that you draw vertically, when the line touches the demand curve or the AR curve. So this will be the point B here. So point B, once the line touches the demand curve, so and then you refer to the y-axis, so this will be the price, okay, monopoly price. So the price is determined first using MC equals to MR. This is to get quantity, okay, not to get price. Okay, MC equals to MR is to obtain quantity that maximizes profit. But once you get the quantity, then using the same condition, you can also find along the line that you establish what is the quantity. Okay, when the line cuts your demand curve or the AR curve, average revenue curve, that point is the point of reference for you to find what is the monopoly price for at point E here. Okay, so and the rest is quite similar to your profit competition. So you know that profit is obtained by TR minus TC. So DR is obtained by P times Q, price times quantity. So first, where is the price? Where is the quantity? So just now we mentioned that using MC equals to MR, you get the quantity here, at this point here. And then along the line, the price is obtained when the line cuts your AR curve. So this is the P. Okay. So the P here, so P times Q gives your total revenue. So this whole square, this whole rectangle will be the total revenue area. Okay. And then where is the total cost value? The same condition along the same line when the line cuts your average cost, which is at point C here. Okay. So at point C is when the line cuts your average cost. So this is average total cost. So AC times quantity gives you total cost. The same way how we did for perfect competition. Okay. So we know that total cost is obtained by AC multiplied by quantity, right? When you cross multiply the formula just now, AC multiplied by quantity gives you total cost. So AC times Q, you get the blue area here as a total cost, the red area as a total revenue. So TR minus TC. So the remaining area here, okay, if I highlight this part as yellow area, so this will be the economic profit. Okay, so I think that is clear enough, okay, for you to, and of course you can check on YouTube, okay, tutorial videos, okay, just type monopoly profit in microeconomics, how to find monopoly profit, okay, in microeconomics subject, okay, and then you will find many videos, okay, that you can follow, okay. And then just one small concept that this is actually not a small, it's a big concept, but we're not going to discuss in detail. Okay, so just sufficient that you know what is deadweight loss. Deadweight loss is due to inefficiency. So that is the main thing that you need to understand, because there is no competition. Okay, you recall that, okay, under perfect competition, we have allocative efficiency, whereby under perfect competition, the price is always equals to marginal cost. Okay, but under monopoly, P is above MC because there is no competition. So the firm so the monopolist has a tendency, okay, to charge a higher price because there is no competition, okay, and every firm objective is to get as much profit as possible. So profit can, if you want to get more profit, you charge higher price. So the price that the firm charges in monopoly market usually above marginal cost, and because of that, okay, no competition, price is above marginal cost. So due to that inefficiency, it will create one problem in the market, what we call deadweight loss. Deadweight loss means, in a simple term, okay, it will make consumer and the market worse off, meaning it's due to waste of resources. Okay, the waste of resources meaning the resources are not fully utilized. Okay, so that is the general term that you can define what is dead weight loss. So in a simple graph like this, you can dictate the or you can show the dead weight loss by this particular purple area. Okay, so how do you get? Okay, the same thing, MR, demand, or the AR. Okay, please put down in your notes. Okay, just put here demand also equals to, this is also your AR curve. So MR equals to MC, you get the quantity and you get the price. Okay, so the same condition, when the line cuts your AR line, you get the price. So once you establish this point, okay, and when the MC cuts your demand curve at this point, it will create a, you know, of course you see this as a perfect triangle because the MC curve uh, is a perfect straight line, but in reality, usually you will find that the MC is not really straight line. So your triangle may not look as perfectly, nice shape like this, but it will still create some, it will get you will still get some sort of a triangle shape, okay, like this. Um, okay, but the point that I want you to you know understand on these last few slides, okay, is under monopoly market there is inefficiency because no competition, the price is above marginal cost, so it will create a condition what we call as dead weight loss, okay, or in other term, a waste of resources, okay. So that is what you need to understand. And then again, this concept we just cover on the surface. We're not going to touch in detail what we call as price discrimination, meaning uh, if the firm, if a monopolist can charge different prices, okay, selling the same product, but they can charge different prices in different market, okay. Meaning, for example, if you recall, for example, like uh, iPhone, for example, the iPhone that is sold in the United States is cheaper than iPhone that are sold in other countries. Even after you convert into the exchange rate, okay, it is still much higher. Okay, for example, the iPhone in Malaysia or even in some Asian country like in India, for example, okay, is much the cost is greater. I mean, you need to pay higher price than what you pay if you were to live in the United States. Okay, so that is the power for the Apple to discriminate. Okay, because they know that the demand for iPhone is very high in certain countries, and people are willing to pay a high price, okay, even though the price in the home country US is still cheaper than the one that you pay here in Malaysia, okay, or in other market. So price discrimination is, okay, the firm can charge different prices for the same product in different market. Okay, so that is what price discrimination is. Okay, so we're not going to discuss here, but there are different types of price discrimination, first degree, second degree, but we're not going to discuss that in detail. Okay, so I think that's it for topic number 7. Okay, for the syllabus, okay, whereby we have finished all of the 7 topics under principle of under microeconomic section. Okay, so for next coming Wednesday, okay, we're gonna start with topic number 8 on on the rest of the topic will be on macroeconomics. Okay, so the focus and the direction will be different. Okay, no more on firms, no more on consumers maximizing profit. So the issues will be more general. Okay, like economic growth, unemployment, inflation, money supply, okay, interest rate, those kind of things. Okay, so okay, we still have around 15 minutes or maybe 10 minutes to go. Okay, so maybe I can do 1 or 2 questions from the past, okay, to see apa tu, I mean, some questions on perhaps monopoly and perfect competition. Okay, let me see. Okay, so the last time we discussed this particular set of question is at question number 37. Okay, the last time we discussed is when the firm raises its price above uh, the price above market price, still we drop to zero because the demand curve is perfectly horizontal. So nobody wants to buy your product if you set the price above or even below. I mean, below, usually people don't charge below because every firm is a price taker, so they make no sense for you to charge below or even let alone the price above the market price. So that is what we discussed last time. And also question 38, okay, firm are price takers. Each firm selling an similar product leads to the conclusion that firm are price takers. Okay, so the last two questions is on monopoly. Okay, okay, so let's see question number 39 first. Okay, so the monopoly's MR curve is downward sloping and lies below the demand curve, upward sloping and lies above, perfectly inelastic, downward sloping and lies above the firm's demand curve. Okay, uh, so first, of course, okay, the best way is to check back your notes. Okay, look at the okay, this graph here, which I just explained a few minutes ago. Okay, so the question asks about the shape of the demand of MR curve. So first and foremost, okay, the one upward sloping is of course wrong lah. Upward sloping means the graph is something like this. Okay, but you know that the demand curve, or I mean MR and AR, is always downward sloping. Okay, and then so that leaves you A. I mean perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic means the graph should be perfectly vertical. Okay, perfectly elastic, perfectly it will be horizontal. If inelastic, perfectly inelastic, it will be a perfect vertical line. Okay, so just like what you learned in the demand curve section in chapter 2 or chapter 3. Okay, so perfectly inelastic means perfectly vertical. The line should be vertical, which is wrong as well. Okay, so C is also wrong. Okay, so then it's either A or D. Okay, downward sloping and lies below or lies above. So we know that the MR will be always below the AR curve. Okay, the demand curve or the average revenue curve. So okay, so that's why the answer should be A lah. Okay, that's what most of you, okay, all of you have chosen. Okay, and finally, a natural monopoly. Okay, so the word natural monopoly, okay, so that's why sometimes, okay, not all items that we cover in the lecture, okay, will I mean, sometimes certain concept or term, okay, you can only find when you do many questions, okay. So, and if you are not sure, of course, you can just Google from internet and see what are the specific term or the specific definition for natural monopoly. But what I can see is that natural monopoly is that the word natural means by default or by by definition, the firm, the firm itself already become monopoly because of the nature of the firm's business. So if you can make a intelligent guess, so what will be the answer that you think is correct? Okay. So what would be the answer for this? Okay, some of you chose C, some of you chose D. Okay, the correct answer should be B. Okay, economy of scale are so large that only one firm can survive and achieve low unit cost. Okay, because the word natural, as I mentioned, okay, when the firm joins or set up the company, okay, by right, the firm with if you look at the barriers to entry just now under this um concept here, okay, natural monopoly, very high fixed cost. Okay, it's already discussed here. Okay, very high fixed cost meaning the cost to set up the business is very big. Okay, so by right, so that fall under the term natural monopoly. Okay, economy of scale meaning the size of the business or the cost that the firm requires is big enough. Okay, so only one firm can survive. Okay, so it's some of the points is already here. Okay, natural monopoly means it covers on the cost here. Okay, so we don't because when the firm is a monopolist, of course, there is no close substitute. Okay, but another extra term here is natural monopoly. Okay, so C and D are not wrong, but these are just characteristics of a normal monopoly. Okay, exclusive owner of resource as what you see here. Okay, ownership of materials, patents, copyright. These are normal characteristics of any monopoly. So if you want to be a monopoly, those are the normal characteristics. Okay. Um, I think is wrong. Okay, the word natural does not refer to natural resource. So C and D are correct, but these are for normal monopolists. Okay, but for natural monopolists, okay, you must talk about the size of the firm becomes so big or the cost it requires to set up the business is so big, just like TMB, for example, okay, the electricity supplier for Malaysia. Okay, so I think that's conclude our discussion for today. So I will hopefully I can send you perhaps one or two past years mid-semester questions that covers topic 1 to 7. Okay, and then for your discussion. But I think the file which I uploaded in your OL, okay, many weeks ago on the test bank for for microeconomic syllabus. So you have so many questions there that with the answers. So if you attempt those questions, it will provide you with, I think, enough understanding, okay, on each of the topic that we cover here. Okay, so look at those test bank again, and then okay, and then on Wednesday we're gonna start with, because we got many other plenty of topics to finish. Okay,